Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Xaereth Prevails, a Grand Arena story. It's the semifinals of Group 3 and that's exciting, but first I want to give a huge shout out to all of my patrons. You guys are awesome and I really appreciate all of your support. Alright, so like I said, we're in Group 3, Match 2, which is the semifinals, and, I just got done with a pretty rough match. Previously, I didn't full clear, which means that I am not really in contention for top 10. We're still going to try to get as many points as we can, though, of course, and get the win. Try to get undefeated in this season. That's still on the table. And looking at my opponent's stats here, they beat me in all of the different relic categories by just a little bit, besides tier 1 and tier 2, but they have developed their roster, or their relic game just a little bit more than I have, which is generally fine with me. The thing I look at most, honestly, is the Gear 13 disparity. I have more Gear 13, I actually have more Gear 12 as well. And then my mod game is a little bit better than my opponent's. In fact, I would go as far as to say it's much better than my opponent's. That's one thing that I've focused on a lot. Now, looking at our overall success, my opponent has, mixed success. But going into this match, I was not sure if that was legitimate, or if my opponent had just taken a season off to get the locked in carbonite achievement or something. It's hard to tell at this point. So looking at my opponent's deployment, they had the exact same lineup that they had in Grand Arena history, and so I felt fairly confident that I could probably clear it anyways. None of these teams were going to pose an enormous challenge to me in the front zone, and so the first thing I needed to do though was take out this General Grievous squad. Now Grievous does not have anyone special with him, he just has Droidica as the 5th. However, they are all relic really high. They're all like relic 4 or higher, and they're all decently modded. I decided to take my Bastila lead Jedi Revan team here. And so my first move is always, you use Revan to do his AoE and pass turn meter to Grandmaster, or rather to Hermit Yoda. Hermit Yoda then gives the turn meter and training to Grandmaster Yoda, and Grandmaster Yoda does an AoE. So that gets B2 out of stealth. That means we have 2 AoEs going off to get him out of stealth, and 1 single hit from Grandmaster Yoda. And then we get Mark onto B2 as well. And the goal is to kill B2 before Grievous even gets a turn, and we were able to do that. Grievous got an AoE, he immediately got a turn, but he was going to do an AoE anyway, so it's great that I could kill one of the droids before Grievous actually got an AoE off. And that really accentuates why it's important to put someone other than Droidica in the 5th slot, to be honest. BB-8 or Watt are going to add a lot more. Now the B2 is gone, we can focus on, honestly, just kind of spreading the damage out. We can work on B1. Here I skipped over to Grievous for a second with Grandmaster Yoda because his turn meter was getting pretty far up there, and Grandmaster Yoda did his big hit and reduced his turn meter again, because we don't want Grievous taking any turns that he doesn't have to. Once I finally got Mark back from Jedi Knight Revan, then we could put Mark on Grievous and just kind of bypass all the other droids. And Grievous has a ton of hit points. He has over 150,000. But honestly, all of the damage that I can do with Grandmaster Yoda, and really just him. The rest of them do an indifferent amount of damage, but still take him out pretty quick and easy. And then I took out Droidica because he's the one who's going to be a threat to one-shot one of my characters here. Most of my characters actually still have their bonus protection, which is pretty cool. And this Magna Guard is he's ability blocked, and that's wonderful. That means he's not going to taunt, and we can just take out B1 here. And once we take out B1, then this is an easy enough match. I mean, once Grievous is gone, it's a laugher. It's just a matter of how much can I regenerate my hit points. That's what we're trying to do here. And really, the only character that has lost protection at all is Revan, and it's going to be hard to regenerate all of that protection in time. And so 59 banners, I mean, I'll call that a win. That's a wonderful result, honestly. And that's what kind of what I expect against a squad without Watt or BB-8 in there, because I get the jump on them and I can just kill B2 right away. It's just a huge advantage. So I beat that squad, and then now we're gonna try to tackle this Karth squad, and it's not gonna be that much of a challenge. At least that's what I thought going into this. And the real question is, how many shocks can I get? Because we have a feat where I need to apply shock 50 times over the course of 2 different rounds, and I only got 22 last time. That means I need to get 28 this round, and I thought this was a pretty great candidate for that, just because taking on this team, that they're resilient, but you can control them pretty easy. And Zalbar can take forever to kill, especially because I don't really have any great damage per second characters here. They're all just control pieces that are giving a ton of debuffs. And so I figured I could just spam shock on Zalbar for a long time. So, this match is kind of informed by the fact that I'm trying to maximize the number of shocks that I get. And I'm not convinced that I was actually super efficient at getting a ton of shocks off, but that's really what my goal here was. Now, you do need to be cognizant, though. Like, this team will eventually shake free of all of this stun and everything, and they're going to do some damage if you're not careful. And, we want to maximize banners as well. And so I did take out Karth right away, just because his AoE could, steal 5 banners from me, which isn't cool, man, at all. But once we took him out, I wanted to also take Canderous out if I could. I have no idea if shock actually counts if you kill someone, finish someone off with his ability, if shock is applied after they're dead or not. In the end, I just wanted to take out all of the guys who could do a lot of damage. And now, Juhani isn't someone I can actually reach right now. So, I'm just frying Zalbar as much as I can. I'm passing turn meter to Palpatine instead of healing Tarkin here, and that's not a thing I would normally do. Tarkin should absolutely have been healed there by Thrawn. It's just the nature of the beast here, though. I'm trying to get the most banners that I possibly can, or rather the most shocks that I possibly can, and 59 is still pretty decent result here. I should have gotten 60 if I hadn't been going for so many shocks, and to be honest, I didn't actually get that many shocks. I think I got less than 10 from that match, so that was disappointing. Their Zalbar was disappointingly less accommodating than I was hoping for. I was hoping that he would just take shock after shock, and I guess that's unreasonable of me, apparently. I'm the bad guy. So the back zone didn't have anything that worried me too much, and I wanted to take out the other top zone, the other front zone, I should say. And they had Night Sisters, which my troopers can handle, but I did have plans for them because of feats again. This is an easy 60 banners, though. You take troopers, you make sure that your Stark is faster than any of these bounty hunters, which isn't always the case, because boss can be really fast, but you do that, and then once you kill one bounty hunter, usually it's Boba, you get a bunch of turn meter on all of your troopers, and then you kill Boba again, you get a bunch of more turn meter, and the bounty hunters just never take a turn for a quick 60 banners. So that's a really easy counter to be able to take these guys out. And you just have to make sure you watch for the speeds, because if Stark isn't faster, like I said, you're gonna maybe be in pain. So now there was a Night Sisters team here, and I had been considering taking my troopers against them. I think they would have been just fine, but there's another feat going on right now where you have the Order 66, where you're trying to kill characters with the different characters that performed Order 66, apparently. So, Emperor Palpatine, he got a couple kills in the last match, against Old Republic. But here, I wanted to do this as much as I could. I'm being a little sneaky here, and you'll see why. In a minute, I'm taking Clone Sergeant, though, which might clue you in. He's one of the Order 66 characters, which I think is ironic that he's actually on the team that he tried to help butcher. Though, actually, they were never hit by him. Anyways, enough about lore. We don't need to cover that here on this here channel. So, you know, this match is as close to a hard counter in this game as is possible. You know, Padme has all the advantage here, and you will just, you know, destroy this team really, really easily. If you have, you know, more gear than them, if you have equal gear, you're going to destroy them as well. So, anyways, we're just biding our time, trying to kill Daka first. We kill 2 random Night Sisters first, doesn't matter. Zombie revives them. Then we kill Daka because she can revive. Then you kill Talzin because she has a corner case where she can revive. And now we're just going to spend a long time killing Zombie for the feat. And, you know, every time we kill Zombie with Clone Sergeant, then we get another counter. And, you know, once again, this is actually really bad for my banners. You know, Spirit is hanging out, just trying to take protection off of Kenobi, and I can't regenerate that. So once she finally gets through that, you know, I'm going to lose a banner, and that's horrible. That's what feats do to you. You lose banners because of them. And, you know, we're just trying to get kills with Clone Sergeant. So, you know, this is fun, though. Honestly, you know, just butchering Zombie over and over again. Zombie is a great candidate to get all of your different feats done, or at least some of them. You know, frankly, I should have probably tried to find a team that I could have used Emperor Palpatine with to kill this, so I could kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You know, as stood, I didn't. So I did kill that team with pretty decent banners anyways. And the back zone, my opponent always puts Darth Revan on defense. So I decided that was going to be fine because I had my own Darth Revan team. And, you know, you do need to take out that team right away, though, because if you do fail somehow, you need to be able to plan on, you know, a way to finish it off, because we want a full clear. You know, you start with shock, and you hope that shock lands not only because of the feat, but because that means that Malak isn't going to be able to taunt. After that, you have to dispel the taunt from Sith Trooper, and then I used my Marauder to just snipe his Bastila right away, just take her out, and so that worked pretty well. Now we want to take out HK because he can do a ton of damage, and really, like, trying to kill Darth Revan early is just an exercise in futility. Like, you want to kill him, of course. If you can do a huge hit on him, that's awesome, but otherwise, like, you're just going to invite Malak to do his thing, and that's frustrating. You know, you don't want him to be taking turns, and so here I'm just trying to apply shock a little bit more. This is my last chance to get the feat, which I've mostly given up on at this point, but you know, here I'm like, oh, I can do a shock one more time, and Sith Empire Trooper just died. So 57 banners against Darth Revan mirror match. You know, that's about what you expect, hopefully, when all of your characters are faster than your opponents. And, you know, that was really the last threat here. You know, there's Geonosians, and I wanted to take them out as quick as I could, just because of, if you watched last episode, I got stuck on Geonosians, embarrassingly, and I did not want a repeat of that. You know, I had plenty of options to take these guys out, and, you know, I love Commander Luke against Geonosians. I know that a lot of people kind of scratch their head and, you know, they shake their head at least and say, oh, eccentric Xaereth, like doing stupid things again. But it really works every time. So you shoot Brood Alpha first and stun him because he's faster than everyone else, and he's going to dispel if you do. So then you shoot the Brood Alpha, or rather the Brute, with Commander Luke, or you lightsaber, you don't shoot, and then you do your special against him so that he is ability blocked, or rather buff blocked, so he can't taunt. And now we're going to focus on, you know, the weaker guys. I was able to dispel Spy and just one-shot Spy. You know, now we're just picking these guys off one by one. You know, this is the counter that I was trying to do in my last video that I just kind of forgot about doing. Like, it was just kind of a foolish thing. Like, in the last video, I should have targeted Brood Alpha with Jedi Knight Revan. Instead, I pretended like it was Commander Luke and targeted a periphery Geonosian, and that was the fail, because Commander Luke should do that. You should target the periphery. But as it stands, you know, that it worked out this time, at least for Commander Luke. It usually does. If you have 3PO available, even better. So that was kind of a slaughter. And now we have First Order, and we have a Newt team with a High Relic Nest. And I actually think I made a mistake here. I should have tried to take out that Newt team first, because if my Traya team did not work against it, then it's going to be really hard to find a counter to it. So, I did check the speeds here. You want Officer to be faster than your opponent's Officer or Kylo Ren Unmasked, which mine was, and I passed turn meter to original Kylo. He does his AoE, gives everyone on the team a huge amount of turn meter, so the whole rest of the team goes, and then we just kill First Order Officer right away. He's pretty squishy at gear 12. Killed the TIE Pilot because he's really squishy, and now it's just a rout at this point. I have all the momentum. I have a stun on Kylo Ren Unmasked, which you want to have. It's a 2-turn stun, so even if he gets a turn, he just wastes it and he's still stunned, and you have no way to break out of that. There's no way unless First Order Officer is around. And now we've got the double stun on both of the Kylos, and we can just kind of kill them with impunity. You want to check all of the health and protection on all your characters to see if they have any missing, and we don't have any missing. We're trying to get a stun off there. We didn't get done. He whacked First Order Stormtrooper, but it wasn't enough to get me lower than 60 banners. So, pretty easy match. If you have a faster First Order team, the mirror match is really simple, and especially my opponent didn't have First Order Stormtrooper, which he can complicate things. A TIE Pilot is just not as good as the Stormtrooper, and so we're in our final match, and traditionally Darth, Traya, that trio can always beat this team. There is a relic nest involved, and that complicates things, and there are a couple other relics on the team, which I'm forgetting which ones they are now, and I'm being lazy, so I don't want to actually go back and look. But this team can be tricky. You see that you have the core of Newt and Dooku, and then Newt actually has some pretty good synergies with Scoundrels. So you have 3 other Scoundrels here, which is pretty cool. I actually really like this setup. I don't know, it's probably not going to work for me specifically for what I'm trying to do, but having L3 here and Vandor is pretty cool, because if you kill either Nest or Newt or L3 and Vandor has his prepared, then he'll revive them. So it's actually an excellent use of synergy. Now that we've got Nest isolated, we want to do that so that she's not going crazy with extra turn meter if she can get it, or counters if she has them. We want to avoid that. She can get days off, of course. She gets her normal attacks, but isolate is great against her. Now we're just going to try to kill Vander Chewbacca, because if we leave him alone, he'll get prepared, and like I said, he's just going to revive the whole team basically, passively, and that's unacceptable. Now I did see the opportunity to get a stun off on Dooku, which I did, and now we can take him out without him countering. And sometimes you kind of want him to counter, but in this case you don't really. Like, if he does counter, then he hurts himself, but he had low enough health and protection that you just want him to frankly die instead. So now I had the option to wait to annihilate someone, and I decided to just take out L3. Didn't want to mess with the turn meter. Nest was not really doing that much. She wasn't high tenacity, so I could stun her, as you can see there. And still Vander's not dead, so kind of doing a bad job on that. Pay the extortion fee, and we can't really get too much extortion paid off, because he keeps extorting our Sith Empire trooper, which I guess is fine, but every time he applies extortion after that, like, I can't dispel it fast enough because the Sith trooper's not fast enough. But anyways, that we do want to pay extortion when we can, just like in real life. And now we're just waiting for an annihilate to take out Nest, and otherwise we're trying to kill Newt. We kill Newt one time here, and he of course just revives. He's annoying and obnoxious, and I hate him. And now we have no choice but to just hit Nest worthlessly for a while, but she can't actually hit us back, so we're good to go. And we're just honestly, that we're just biding our time. This match is over. I'm not going to get good banners. The only possibility of potentially regaining a banner here is, through Scion using his big hit, and he's not really in striking distance of that anyways. So, now we're just going to kill him, hopefully hurt Newt enough that, when he does damage to us, or when he takes damage, the rest of the team is healed to full health, and we finished the match with 55. It's kind of a downer. I had been super efficient up to that point and dropped 5 banners, but I still ended up with a pretty solid 1907, which is pretty good considering my General Skywalker is on defense, and my opponent was probably going to drop 6 to 8 banners against that squad alone. So my opponent actually attacked pretty soon after that, but we're going to look at my feats first. Now, this is actually the wrong screenshot, and I'm too lazy to actually swap it out. I ended up with 42 on the shocking twist thing, and I did end up with 11 of the order 66. So didn't get the shocking one, which is fine. We're not going for top 10 anymore anyways. So this is the board before. After my opponent attacked, pretty soon thereafter, this was the result that I walked in on. And you see that Kira is slumped. That means that we probably win because my opponent can't recoup it, and they just got stuck behind my relic 7 nest. Like, I feel almost bad like that. I don't really feel bad because it's nice to get the win like that, but it's frustrating to try to take that team out. And then my Newt team actually also got clear. Now my nice sisters got cleared. Everyone got cleared on the first shot here. Not too surprising, I suppose. But, my opponent did keep their General Skywalker for offense, which is fine. They needed to be able to clear it. Here's my back zone that I had, and they just didn't get touched. So, anyways, got the win, and it was, honestly, that was like the most stress-free win ever because, I attacked, and then I was done with my break, and, at work, and I went back in. And when I came back out of work, my opponent had attacked, and that was that. Like, I had the entire rest of the match to pat myself on the back and restrain myself from proclaiming to the world all the various spoilers that I wanted to brag about, honestly. So, I talked to my opponent a little bit, and he'll be watching this video, I believe. Cool guy, asked for some feedback, and I hope this video was helpful. But my next match is really going to be tough. The guy is a really strong opponent, has me destroyed mod-wise. Really good teams, really good lifetime banners, great record overall. It's going to be a very challenging match. So, stay tuned for that. And, until then, thank you guys so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Xaereth prevails.